Welcome to to my wicso series. Last episode, the great the Franco-German War happened. Last of war in Europe. Europe is currently in the warring period, and of course the Second Mediterranean War, which kind of started as a massive ploy to get back southern Italy. It's kind of goofy if you really think about it. Okay. Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So let's continue. Firstly, Roman troops are able to cross this island, Sicily, and invade it. They are also able to move many troops, which, due to the war, had many troops were here now, as the Gauls were are more raiders than the Lusitanians and their competitors dominance of the Iberic Empire is in the same is in the same position. So it now looks like the Greeks are losing, but the Greeks have one thing, and that's Illyria. You see, the Romans didn't realize that Illyria not was still independent, had its own army, and the Greeks moved a large chunk of their exiled army down, which was in the south, in a flanking maneuver to invade them. The Romans would be shocked by this as Greek troops move into Veneto. Roman troops. No, so Roman troops are able to successfully defend over here, so the front line looks just like this. But if this city gets captured, the Rome is split in two, and the rest is easy peasy. Now, the Iberic Empire does eventually fall with the capture of its capital. The fall of the Iberic Empire's capital would cause the Iberic Empire to surrender and stop the war in their own independent peace treaty. Firstly, Romans regained Catalonia, if they ever had Catalonia. They also regained Sardinia, these lands, what islands? The Majorca, I think. Yeah, Majorca and its other islands. While for the Lusitanians, the Iberic Empire was allowable and becomes a vassal of them. So the Iberic Empire is really just limited to the south now. So with the fall with Iberia switching sides, let's change that. So with that out of the way, the Greeks decide to do something. They decide to do white peace with the Romans. Now, not really white peace. They decide to call peace, and they said to tell the Romans, bro, please accept this peace deal. The Romans are like, bro, we have Egypt. Get out. No, we won't accept that. So the Greeks do now invade Egypt. Egypt is real easy to invade, as they conquer the Nile and the rest is just claiming it's conquered. With Egypt being conquered navally, the Greeks press demand on it. The Greeks, in order to decide to do what they to be douchebags and give the Levant and give the Sinai Peninsula to the Levantine to the Levant. Egypt is now in the puppet state of the Greeks, and now the Greek puppet. Now Egypt is from a Greek enemy to a Greek puppet. Yeah, stockade. Oh, my sister has woken up. Oh shit. So, okay, yeah, that's just a bunch of stylistic. So the Greeks have secured their massive zone of influence. They have currently two vassals. That's the most vassals anyone has, I think. Like their own like two powers with vassals, and all of them are in Europe. France, Lusitania, and Greece. After the capture of Greece, the Greeks offered another compromise peace treaty. The Romans actually lost the last war, but the Greeks lost way more land than the Romans maybe lost economically. And the Greeks would really like to expand their seafaring opportunities, so they give these areas to the Romans and the Venice area to the Dalmatians. And this small area is also kept as a garrison, a small minor garrison. So this will be an pot. The small garrison is not part of that city. It's a Greek colony, and according to the peace treaty, but Rome regains all its lost territories. With Rome regaining its territory, and heck, and 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 even then, and they also gained Corsica from the Iberic Empire. They gained way too much for just course to for just Venice, and they also get the war reparations. They don't have to pay war reparations anymore, or this was more like indemnities, but still, I'm just gonna call reparations for no reason. Now the Greek alliance. Now the so none of that. That's the square alliance. Uh, no, rounded and no round. Yeah, rectangle. The square alliance has expanded. The Romans are still are have still do have the circle alliance, but instead it's kept as that an alliance. They don't want to do anything in the Mediterranean now, as they've secured their sphere of influence. The Iberic Empire is under their control. The Mediterranean is still, the Mediterranean countries are still rivals, but and then there's now nothing hard to worry about, right? Right? I mean, the Greek alliance has expanded to very great heights. It's now moving more east, and as the Greeks are really trying to secure their homeland, which I think no, this city is the Greek or the original capital of the Greek city is here. So so the yellow and plus this would be in time of rivalry between the orange team and the yellow team. The yellow team, which had recovered from the this ultimate Bronze Age collapse, is now looking at who are acting like they need a refund, even though they didn't absolutely do it. Like they want to attack the Levantines to take back Syria, But the red team and the orange team don't like that, as they like this balance of power. The red team has ambitions of taking over Armenia, but the yellow team doesn't like that, so this balance of power is kept, as it's very profitable for the factions. As you can see, there are a lot of different trade routes passing in this area. We have the Anatolian trade route, the Mesopotamian trade route, and the Mediterranean trade route passes around that region. So these countries are really rich, and you know who wants to be rich but is broke? I mean, yeah, they do have their own personal market which can take over a lot of things, but they want to expand their zones of influence, that being Caucasus. Yeah, the Caucasian country wants to expand, but where the fuck can they expand? I mean, they don't want war with the blue team, the red team. These countries are very strong. They have no problem to go to war with the orange team, but even then, that's still a big thing. But with that, I think there will be peace in our time as we move to conquest in Africa. Yeah, this is technically either conquest or kinda colonization. And by kinda colonization, I mean colonists fighting other colonists to colonize land, basically. So the Ugandan Empire is slowly expanding as the Iron Age is a time of great wealth for them. They've conquered into this lake. They are moving here into the rich these areas which are rich in ore. These areas are really rich. But I think the most the, I think the largest discovery is actually discovery of the full discovery of the Gold Coast. The Gold Coast, after all, the Iberic Empire is now legitimate according to many people, so a lot of people decide to split off and form their own groups. This also includes Cameroon, which decides to colonize the Gold Coast, and with the establishment of Cameroon, we'll see actual trade routes forming for that. That trade route will be the West Africa, the Atlantic exchange. The Atlantic exchange starts in the Iberic Empire, moves and resupplies here, but then it moves here, and then they skip a lot of areas. This area is still not as safe as the other ones, even the Silk Road. And then they reach here. As you can see, I knew the end of the. We might enter a medieval age, by the way, as explosion is quickly stopping at an alarming rate. I mean, the Koreans are overpopulated, and the Ugandans are overextended, so people don't want to colonize. And speaking of Ugandan overextension, okay, I have just a few minutes. The Uganda actually has developed two spheres. The one is in the Great Rift Valley, the other in the Congo colonization and trade areas, and the other here, which is me, which is really pro-Ethiopian. But speaking of the Ethiopians, they don't want to expand in the south. And these areas decide to rebel due to some trading rights and things, as trade is starting to form in these areas. I mean, the Ethiopians are very mercantile, as their colonies show. And with that, I am ending the videos. Please like and subscribe. I mean, it's not one place, but still like and subscribe. And thanks.